Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's awesome that you're tuning in. So in this video we're going to take a close look at another new Pandora's box. Yeah, or this thing is called the Pandora OS or something like that. But what I'm going to do is first unboxing together because look at this weird shape. And don't know if it's going to be the new thing or they just added this because it's a brand new box and they just gave me like a separate mainboard. Don't know, so let's find out. Alright, so let's get this first small box at the top because I have no idea what's inside. It doesn't say anything over here, just a barcode. So let's see what we're going to get in here because I'm guessing it's the main board because I have no idea what it otherwise it should be. Okay, so let's see what we're going to get in here. Okay, so that is basically what we're going to get are like the chemical PlayStation 2 controllers, or I'm guessing in there, but that is the thing. Okay, so that's what's happening over here. So they're not like including the freaking controllers and the inside, they're just like using some extra tape and putting it on the top. So in the box itself, we're going to get ourselves that latest edition of the Pandora's box. And let's take a close look at this bad boy, if this thing is any good. Pandora time, the jungle nightmare. And I just realized I opened it up at the wrong freaking side. Yep, it's upside down, baby. Upside down. Oh. But what are we going to get inside the package? We're going to get ourselves the very long HDMI cable and USB cable because we can use this arcade stick like a 2-player arcade stick on your PC. Then we're going to get ourselves some parts, and not only like spare parts like buttons, but we need to assemble the ball tops and of course the dust covers over here. So that's something we need to do later on, and of course we're going to get ourselves the basic 12-volt power supply. The case design is the new model, and I've reviewed a lot of devices, but the reason why I say this new model, not only the decal itself is different, but also like the size, or the better said, the measurements of the stick itself. So the next thing that we need to do is use the ball top on the stick itself, otherwise there is no way of basically playing, of course. So that's the first thing that we're going to be in assembly. So the joystick quality is more like your typical Senwa clones, not really bad, and they will have like pretty damn good accuracy when it comes for fighting games. But sadly they are still using the same light up buttons I've seen before in the previous models, and these like the long travel ones, they are, let's say, less wiggly, but they still feel really cheap, so I'm not a big fan of those. But how about the artwork? That is something they changed out in this year. They call this thing the game box. And I must say, like, I think it's personal taste. I really like it, to be honest. Let me know in the comments, do you like the art style? Or do you prefer to have something like a decal? And something they didn't change out, basically what you're going to get is this metal case over here. And they're basically putting a sticker on here. And it was very nice about it. So if this thing is going to get some wear and tear, you can just replace it very easy. But let's take a close look at the menu itself and what are we going to get with the Pandora Games OS. This thing comes by many names, but the question remains, what are we going to get with the menu? Because there we're going to get some major differences. Now, back in the days, but also now with the new models. So the Pandora Games OS looks very similar to the Pandora's Box DX when it comes to the menu. But how good is everything when it comes to the power emulation? And what this thing could do, like with the settings. But people have no idea what is a Pandora's box. Basically this is an all-in-one plug and play device. So when you're pressing up and down, left and right, you can basically navigate through the menu. With up and down we go to the next game, and with right and left we can choose to the next page. In total we're going to get 607 different pages over here. The first thing I'm already noting, like nothing has been putting on alphabetic order. That is going to be like an issue for maybe even in the future. And yeah, when you're pressing the start button at the top, then we're going to get even some more options like searching through the games. So this is basically similar like the Pandora Box DX, or better said, it's almost the same. So then we're going to get the recent list search option, we're going to get 3D games, then we're going to get some different ones like 3 and 4 player. That is something we're going to check out because we do have the extra controllers, shooting, sports and puzzle. With search, you need to press A and you can search your games fairly easy. As you can see over here, we're putting in the letters and already searching for a game. But still quite surprised to see, even entering a couple of games I wanted to search, I couldn't find it. Okay, something they also copied from the Pandora DX is the save functionality. An option you have with the latest Pandora's box is something that you just need to have, because it's just a really convenient thing that you can make a quick load, quick save. But there is only one slot for each game. But let's take a close look at the settings. And the reason why, because here we can sometimes find some minor differences. The system configuration is something I really wanted to check out. Here we're going to get a selection mode, and we do have the enhanced image option, but we can only like open and close it, or nonetheless you can like put it on and off. Here we're going to get the option here at the bottom, because here we can turn on and off basically the player 1 and player 2 with the joysticks, or saying we're going to use only the controllers. So that is something we're going to try out later on. But there was something I really hate about these game boards. So here you can see like we're going to get like a lot of hacked versions when saying like it's freaking hot. And here you can see like they're all like freaking double games and all kinds of weird ones if you need to believe the list itself. So it's a freaking mess. It's absolutely a mess when you're looking at the first models I've reviewed back in the day. Okay, so the downside to this is that I'm still having the filter on. And I really hate it. Oh, and the aspect ratio option, there's nothing to do about it, because it still like has the same problems like also the other models, including some shitload of screen tearing. I don't know if the camera picks it up, but you can see it very clearly. It's pretty damn bad. Alright, next up I wanted to try out Breaker's Revenge, and I don't know what's going on here, but they absolutely messed it up. You can hear like the audio is not like it should be. What the hell? The game goes on freaking turbo mode. I must say, like, the joystick is very responsive. I knew it was responsive, but not that great. And no, this is not like an hacked version. It's actually like, it's on turbo mode. But it was only one single game I tried out that had this issue. Because this game will just fine. I just punched him right up in the face. Alright, next up I wanted to try out some PlayStation, or 3D I like to call it. But the end is like, how good will it run, because some of the board even like lagging, having issues with this. The sound is really awful. I just needed to find my button, because I have no idea, like everything has been mapped incorrect. That's another issue of these freaking devices. I'm getting my ass kicked here. I'm getting my ass kicked. But when it comes to the performance of the game itself, it seems to be running just fine. I've seen it later boards, or better said, like, I think it was a year ago that there were boards like were so cheap and so low on the power that it even couldn't run PlayStation 1. Alright, so next up I wanted to try out the 4-player, and oh man, the controls that came with it, like they're like the cheap ones. And one of those things you can see like already is like you have not even like rubber on the freaking joystick, and oh yeah, they smell like really chemical plastic. So these things are freaking awful, but still we're going to use it. Also it comes with one USB, and the main reason is simply because of these bloody freaking Pandora's boxes do have 2 USB ports, but only one can be used for an extra controller. But yeah, nevertheless, let's plug it in and let's see how it works for 4 players. Alright, so let's check it out. Player 1, player 2, player number 3 over here, and player 4 over here. So basically what we can do is like play together with your friends, 2 on the joysticks, 2 with the freaking chemical controllers, and let's see if everything works in game and how it works. Alright, so let's see, we can play with the D-pad but also with the analog stick. But the same issue occurs with this game too, is that everything sounds like turbo mode again. So when it comes to the emulation, it's quite, let's say, horrible sometimes. But yeah, guess what? The 4-player configuration works. Plug and play. But if I need to give this, let's say, Pandora's box, game box, Pandora OS box, a number when it comes to the quality, I would say, beside the freaking horrible buttons, I will give it a number 7 when it comes to the build quality. But the downside to this version is that basically we don't have any hatch. They can just flip it open. Like with the first version of the Pandora's box, they were very nice. You know, like you can just feel like it were better quality, thicker materials, and the way how they just designed it was way better. So first thing I really like about this is the audio quality. This thing had quite some bass. I love it. So when it comes to the audio quality, it's okay. Here we're going to get the tiny mainboard. We're going to rip it out of the case just to do a quick teardown. But over here, what you can see, we have ribbon cables. I still don't understand why they chose this. Maybe it's cheaper to produce, but normally we're going to get like a very big cable tree that goes to all the buttons and the joysticks, and I think it's more reliable than a PCB with a freaking regular cable. The joysticks can be replaced fairly easy by only removing 4 nuts over here. So you can pull it out. Of course you need to remove the ball top before you're going to do that. And then we're going to get to the buttons. We do have the option to replace them with other buttons with lighter feature if you want to. You can just leave it out if you don't want to use this option. But here you can see like all the cables have been attached to this PCB. So everything can be replaced fairly easy if you want to upgrade the Pandora with different buttons. But something that I personally really don't like is the main board that comes in the side of this machine. And the reason is very simple. Like the emulation is pretty damn horrible. Like I already seen like a lot of issues, but like with the speeding and turbo option, that is something I didn't see, like say many times before. Only like the really old models, but this is the latest model. But removing this mainboard is super easy. We only need to remove the cable for the speaker, the on and off. Then you need to be very gentle, get the ribbon cables out, or you can just remove the full freaking PCB over here. So let's get this bad boy out. Leave the freaking screws in the case, and let's take a close look at the Pandora game OS. The nightmare continues, absolutely. But okay, so this is basically what we're going to get. 2 plastic shells, and then we're going to get the PCB itself. It's going to be the Tetris Pandora's box, you know, like... No, nevertheless. So what you're going to get is an active fan, so that is a good thing. Like sometimes you're using these very tiny passive coolings. I'm not a big fan of those. So here we're going to get the same connections like always. VGA, there was no VGA cable by the way. HDMI, volume control, headphone jack out, the settings button, 2 USB ports, and yep, you can only use the bottom part. Or the bottom one, and then we're going to get the input for the 12 volt. Yeah, when it comes to, let's say, in design, I think it's a little bit of a bummer. Yeah, like shrinking the boards. It's just finding a way to get these things cheaper, or to buy them cheaper, or make them cheaper. The GB2000L, the MB VB, that's basically like the model number of this. But let's get the freaking fan off, and let's see what kind of chip is beneath it. The fans can always be replaced fairly easy. You can see like this thing is like gigantic compared with the main board. Okay, so the other thing that they changed out, they're only having a RAM chip over here. So also there we're going to be seeing downsizing. Then they're using this thermal pad. I try to keep it in good position, good condition because I can't reuse it. Alright, let's put it in here. And let's take a close look at the freaking chip itself. What I'm seeing is quite interesting. I hope the camera picks it up. So this is basically an old school A-Winner A3 quad core CPU. And this thing is like freaking prehistoric tech. I mean, like when the first generation of Pandora box came out, or when I just started reviewing it, this was the chip they were using. So that also explains why I couldn't find Mortal Kombat. They being smart, they're just removing the Mortal Kombat game, because that was like actually like test bench for this. But yeah, this explains a lot why a lot of, let's say, more demanding games are not on here. So another thing that is super convenient, that this thing has this gigantic gap at the back. What do we mean like this gap? There's a lot of space to basically put a new Pandora box in here. So that is a positive thing about it. So if you want to upgrade it, you don't want to have this shitty board, you can also upgrade it with something else. But take consideration when you order one, you need to have one with a complete plastic case. Because they also sell these, let's say, boards with only PCB, and that will not fit. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. And the thing is, like, I'm getting really sick of it at the moment. Because when you're looking at the new models, they promise you all kinds of new fancy stuff. But then you're getting it end up, like, with basically a downgrade. For people who have no idea what I'm talking about, I will explain what I mean with this. But when you're looking at the overall performance of the emulator, it's pretty damn bad. And I think that's such a bummer, because why did they do that? Like, we do have like a lot of new options, controller support, we do got like lighter buttons, but there's another thing that you just need to change out. Stop with the nonsense and just give us like a board that actually works perfectly. And if it doesn't work, don't mention or even like releasing something new. So there you have it guys, the game box from AliExpress. Yep, absolutely a big disappointment. There are some good things of it, of course, like the case. I personally really love it. But when you're looking at the overall performance, it was quite disappointing. Let me know in the comments what you think of this. I want to thank you for watching. Consider subscribing, hit that little bell, become the Wicked family, and I will see you in the next video.